Hey, folks. I got a question here. I know they're trying to get $200 billion for this war that we're in. That's not a war. It's an excursion. Um, isn't the Pentagon's budget like $1 trillion now? It was like one point. They're asking for 1.5 trillion for that. It's already like almost $1 trillion now. So is the 200 billion coming from that, or is it on top of that already? I mean, we know the answers. It's on top of. Where is this money going? Like, where is it going? It is the fact that the Pentagon has not passed an audit since they've been audited. I don't understand how they keep getting the funding that they're getting. Yeah, unless, it's just people just on a take. Because there's no way in the world that you could not pass your audit. I mean, you don't know where half of your assets are. You got, say for instance, the military budget was, I'm using last year. I don't know the exact number. I'm just going to say it was $850 billion, right? You can't account for half of that. You don't know where half of it is. What would happen to you if you couldn't account for half of the assets that were supposedly taken in? What would happen to you on your job? I mean, I can give you prime example. It's anecdotal, but it is an example. When I worked retail, I worked at Payless. This is a good reason for me to bring it up too, because Easter's coming up pretty soon, and Easter was a real busy time at Payless. The 2 weeks before Easter were super busy, especially the day before. Now, we had to have, every day you count out your drawer, you would count it down to the penny, right? You had to be accurate, like really accurate. If it was a variance, you had to know where that variance was, whether it's in the negative or the positive. On the busiest day at Payless, we did maybe like $8,000. Now, all things considered, the most expensive shoes in that store were about $54. That was the most expensive pair of shoes. Everything else was way less than that. So, yeah, you can imagine how many transactions happen to accumulate $8,000, right? So, at the end of the night, that shift, we was gonna say about $8,000. I know the exact number. I do know that. I still remember the exact number. It was $8,149.52, right? It was supposed to be an extra 40, right? It's supposed to be extra $40. So we were basically $40 short. And after we counted down, I mean, the store was just wrecked because, we was like, whatever, let's just count out and go home. We were $40 short. That turned into a panic because, like, hey, if we short, we gonna get fired for $40. Yup, you'd have got fired over that $40. You try it at Walmart or Target, anywhere like that too. Watch it. If your variance is over a certain amount, you are fired. So what ended up happening was it was a transaction put in as cash instead of a check, and it was a check. So that was where that variance came from. We figured it out, was called good. We audited ourselves that night and found out where that missing money was. Our Pentagon has failed every single audit they have, and they can't account for almost $500 billion worth of stuff. Where is the money going?